It's ARP fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family-owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
At Pit Boss Jack's, we put in the work in the shop so you can put in your work at the track. Engineering, speed, durability. Pit Boss Jack's, like a boss.
Race fans, November 4th through the 7th, dirt racing's most celebrated stars will shine in an electrifying spectacle, the World of Outlaws World Finals at the Dirt Track at Charlotte. Purchase a ticket package by Monday, August 3rd at alldirtroads.com and get a free pit pass. All dirt roads lead to Charlotte as the World of Outlaws sprint cars, late models, and super dirt car big block modifieds collide.
Want to make 2026 a year to remember? Then we should be your first stop. Dave Warren Power Sports has the Kawasaki lineup ready. Brute Force ATVs, mule side-by-sides, and jet skis built for serious fun. Before spring hits, stop in and gear up. Dave Warren Power Sports, where the fun begins.
You're watching the World of Outlaws Late Models, presented by DIRTVision.
Powerful late models on the planet!
The best drivers, the best coverage. DIRTVision is home to the greatest shows on dirt.
The 7-year wait for outlaw competition at Ogilvie Raceway comes to an end tonight as the World of Outlaws late models presented by DIRTVision continue their northern swing with the first of 4 stops in Minnesota this season. Good evening, race fans. My name is Peyton Williams, your pit reporter. We'll hear from the voice of the World of Outlaws Late Models Series, Ruben Morales, in just a few moments. It's been the better half of a decade since the Outlaws were here at Ogilvie Raceway, so we've got plenty of storylines to dive into here tonight. But before we look at those, let's revisit the action this past weekend at 141 Speedway, where the Outlaws made their inaugural visit in Maryville, Wisconsin, and it was the defending series champion Bobby Pierce who made quite the splash by becoming the first Outlaw to go to 141 Speedway victory lane.
Ding, ding, we're in the ring. Let's rock and roll for the first time at 141 Speedway. Tristan Chamberlain quickly to the race lead. Pierce gonna power around him on the outside, and Pierce will lead it into turn number 3. Leads us back here on the restart. Gorsuch Performance, green flag back out. Tyler picked the bottom. looking for the lead up the racetrack. And how about Ethan Dodson trying to take third? But Chamberlain denies the 74X. But now Dodson to his inside, slide job off of corner number 4, and Ethan Dodson will have it. He'll go down low into turn number 1. Here comes Tim McCready as well. Dodson up the racetrack. Dodson and McCready side by side here for the third spot down the back straightaway. Give it to McCready. Ethan Dodson to his outside. How about Tim and McCready? A really, really good run. We heard from him in the heat race interview. Brand new race car. This team trying to see their first top 5 since Bedford. And trouble. Dave Warren Power Sports caution is out. And it's starting to rain. That's why the caution's out. Holy cow, did not see the raindrops. We're back to racing. 29 laps to go. The smooth operator, Bobby Pierce, leads us after a red flag period for rain delay. We're back underway. Ethan Dodson holding off the 9 to Tim McCready. The 9 to Nick Hoffman as Tim McCready hangs on to second. A dozen laps to go now as Hoffman works the bottom, and he'll get around Ethan Dodson and get those 2 valuable championship points. A lengthy rain delay under a red flag period. And off of corner number 4, he will pick up his 53rd World of Outlaws win. Pierce is good when we visit new racetracks, and he proves that again tonight as Pierce wins at 141.
And in 2026, there's been no shortage of Bobby Pierce in World of Outlaws victory lane, but it was an unprecedented night the other night in Maribel at 141 with what our series announcer Ruben Morales called a halftime break due to Mother Nature being complicated. We ran the first 31 laps, so that 60-lap feature had about a 45-minute delay before running the last 29, but it was a dominant performance by the smooth operator. And look, he's been dominant for the better half of 2026 here. Let's take a look back at what he's done just in his last 5 starts in all types of competition. You go all the way back to Eldora Speedway, where he won the Dream for the very first time in his career. He then won the inaugural Dirt Cup at Muskegum. And then in his first visit to the newly reconfigured West Virginia Motor Speedway, he won that race as well. He then closed out the weekend in Mineral Wells with a 4th place run. And then in his second ever visit to 141 Speedway, he became the Outlaws' first winner there this past Saturday night. And that's the idea here tonight for the smooth operator as we move into Ogilvie Raceway. He's only ran 1 here time before as well, and that was a win with the XR Super Series back in 2024. So his mission tonight is to get his 5th win in the last 6 races. It would just be the 3rd time in his career that he's been able to accomplish that feat. If he wants to do that, it's going to take a heroic effort, however, as the Superman Jonathan Davenport is here tonight. He's back with the Outlaws for the very first time since the Dairyland Showdown at Mississippi Thunder Speedway, and Davenport went out in 2026 with the mindset that he wanted to pick the races he wanted to contest, and that's given him the opportunity to spend more time with his family, to be refreshed at home, keep his equipment sharp and clean. And he told me earlier today that he's rejuvenated, he's relaxed, and he's ready to race at Ogilvie for the very first time in his career.
I guess that's a double-edged sword because we don't really have anything planned, so we don't know exactly what we're doing week to week to the most places. But as far as that, we can always keep our equipment fresher. I feel like we can go back to the shop when we need to. Something does go wrong, we don't have to stay out on the road and continue to grind. Just like this whole trip up here from when we left, a beautiful place, there at Salina High Banks, never been to there. The place was awesome. And we get to come here, never been here. This whole trip all the way through Deer Creek is places I've never been before. We feel like we should be able to compete anywhere we unload, but, just going back to doing what we want to when we want to. That was a brand new car that we had last week, so we wanted to get out and maybe test some things with it at a different kind of racetrack, and that way we're not in our same routine of doing the same things. So then coming here, it's got a couple reminders of other racetracks that I've been to, but it looks like it's shaped really, really nice. It looks like it would be pretty racy, and obviously I watched videos of where the Outlaws have been here before, and it looked like it would race really wide. So that's definitely good. That's one reason we wanted to come up here and check all this out. But feels like a nice facility, beautiful weather. So yeah, we're ready to go. Ready to go.
And as Superman Jonathan Davenport eyes his first Outlaw victory of 2026, he's fresh off a win at the Salina High Bank Speedway this past weekend with MLRA. Now let's take a look at his numbers here with the Outlaws in 2026. He's made 7 starts. He's been on the podium in 3 of those races. He's finished inside the top 5 4 times and then has 5 top 10s. But as we said, still looking for his first win with the Outlaws here in 2026. He's done it plenty of times in his career, wants to do it here again tonight in his first ever visit to Ogilvie Raceway. Another Outlaw we have our eye on here tonight is the runner-up from 141 Speedway this past weekend, T-Mac Tim McCready. It's been of a downhill slide for T-Mac over the last month or so. That was just his first podium finish since his win back in the middle of May, at Sealands Grove Speedway. And he told me earlier today that when they broke out the brand new race car at 141 Speedway this past weekend, it wasn't intentional. It wasn't something that they had circled or something that they necessarily had planned. But he said, look, it's the busiest time of the year. It was the right time to make a change, and they were thrilled with that P2 finish. But business as usual for Tim McCready. He said he might not always have a smile on his face, and that he's here tonight to win, and that is his only goal.
You get as a driver in a mode of when you get running good, you don't really venture, I think, way far out of the box on your stuff because you're racking up top 5s, hopefully, right? Top 5s lead to top 3s, lead to wins, hopefully lead to string of wins, and everything else falls in place. So usually over the years, brand new hasn't always meant way better. So there's just so much more into it and so many more things you can do to these cars. And so it wasn't all brand, it was a brand new car. And we also did a little bit of things that I hadn't done in a bit, just because when I tried them before, they weren't as good. And then it hit that night. When you bring a car and it feels like it's got a good sweet spot, that's great. I mean, even with the rain delay, we changed some more things and went back out and didn't fade. So those are all positives. It's just a matter of putting it on and knowing when to take it off if you're slow. So, you know, as far as confidence, I mean, even in my lowest of lows, I feel like one adjustment we can always get up front. So that's the mindset that I always have. It doesn't always maybe look like it in my face, but in my just the way I am. But like I'm always feel like if we can just make one adjustment and get the car right, then we're going to be good. Good.
And Tim McCready told me earlier today that it just kind of worked out the way the calendar fell for that brand new Longhorn to fall into his hands, and the way that he and his crew chief Logan Jaquay were able to load those race cars in. It just so happened that the new race car was loaded in second, meaning it would have been the very first one pulled out of their hauler. So they said, you know what, let's try it at 141 Speedway. They were happy with the results, and so they plan to race that race car again here tonight. It's shaping up to be a lovely Monday night here in Minnesota as we get set to go racing. 73 degrees and partly cloudy skies here this evening in what is a very beautiful facility here in Minnesota tonight. Let's run through our order of events. The World of Outlaw Late Models presented by DIRTVision, being supported by the Wissota Modifieds here tonight. In just a few moments, we'll see the late models on track for their hot laps, and then we'll move straight in to Mark Martin Automotive qualifying. We'll then have opening ceremonies before 3 modified heats and then 4 8-lap heat races for the Outlaws. We'll have 1 modified last chance showdown, and then we'll talk to the top 2 finishers in each of the Outlaw heat races during the redraw on the front stretch. A pair of 10-lap last chance showdowns here tonight for the Outlaws before the modified feature, and then the final race of the night, 40 laps around Ogilvie Raceway, $12,000 up for grabs as we will see a new Outlaw winner here tonight in Ogilvie. But once again, I'm Peyton Williams as we bring in the voice of the World of Outlaws late models presented by DIRTVision, Ruben Morales. Ruben, I'm standing over here on the exit of turn 2, what they call the crapshoot. And I know you've got the best seat in the house. A beautiful racetrack, a very beautiful facility, which should put on a great show here tonight, where one of these drivers will become just the 4th different Outlaw to go to victory lane in Ogilvie.
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening to you, Peyton. Really, really excited for this one. Facility gorgeous. You can see behind me, we're in a log cabin in here. They have a bunch of suites here and nice hospitality area to our right. But a lot of great storylines going into this one. Really excited. You look at the top 5 from 141. If you didn't see my race day preview on the World of Outlaws Facebook page, make sure to go check that out. A lot of good stuff there, but we'll talk about all that here as hot laps commence here at Ogilvie Raceway. Drivers rolling onto the speedway. First driver out there, Tyler Erb in the Best Performance Motorsports #1. Turbo, of course, a great streak going on right now. 6 straight top 5s for Tyler Erb, 2 of those including World of Outlaws victories in the Best Performance Motorsports #1. Joining us for the whole swing out of Georgetown, Delaware, that's going to be Ross Robinson in the #7. Ross Robinson trying to make his 46th Outlaw start tonight. Finished 5th at Delaware International back in 2014 as his career best. Also on the speedway joining us tonight for the first time this season, local standout Skeeter Esty, 2-time WISSOTA B-Mod National Champion in his 4th year behind the wheel of a late model, trying to make his first World of Outlaws feature start tonight. There's Dalton Wilson, MD3 Rookie of the Year contender, currently 8th in the World of Outlaws point standings. What a comeback at 141 Speedway for Dalton Wilson, the current MD3 Rookie of the Year point leader. Also on the speedway, Brent Larson, plenty of laps around here. Brent Larson not far from home, Lake Elmo, Minnesota. 5-time Cedar Lake Speedway track champion. Brent Larson excited to be here tonight, close to home in Ogilvie. Also on the speedway, Sam Mars. Glad to have Sam Mars here with us out of Menominee, Wisconsin. 11 World of Outlaws feature starts for Mars. Best finish 8th at River City Speedway in 2024. The 2022 Series champion, Carpentersville, Illinois' Dennis Erb Jr. had a top 5 here with the Outlaws at Ogilvie. And right behind him, getting his season best with the Outlaws of 9th place at 141 Speedway, Jake Tim on his 75th Outlaw start on Saturday at 141. Track record here at Ogilvie, 14.186 on July 13th, 2019. Last time the Outlaws were here was that day. Shane Clanton won. Chris Madden won the 2 previous visits in 2018 and 17, and then the inaugural visit was July 13th, 2016. And Josh Richards picked up the victory at Ogilvie on that day. It's a whole new era now of different drivers on the tour. New faces, new stars, and we'll see who goes to victory lane tonight. This driver having one heck of a run, 6 straight top 5s as we mentioned, 2 of those being wins at West Virginia Motor Speedway for $30,000 and then $100,000 at Mansfield Speedway. Tyler Erb currently 3rd in the World of Outlaws point standings, but Dalton Wilson at the top of the charts right now, 15.537 with the Dirt King Simulator's fastest hot lap. Dalton Wilson, of course, unfortunate circumstance for him at 141 Speedway in the heat race, running in that final redraw position. Then mechanical issues. Had to go to a backup car from the rear of the Last Chance Showdown all the way to a great result to salvage some points. But Dennis Erb Jr. will end it with the Dirt King Simulator's fastest hot lap in hot lap session #1 at a 15.331. Tyler Erb 2nd quick, Dalton Wilson 3rd, Jake Tim 4th, Brent Larson 5th, Ross Robinson 6th, Skeeter Esty 7th, and Sam Mars and 8th. 30 entries here this evening at Ogilvie Raceway. Good field of cars for a Monday night. We'll take tomorrow night off, then Wednesday resume at Fergus Falls, Minnesota at the I-94 Yamaha Speedway. We'll take Thursday off and resume action Friday night at River City Speedway, Grand Forks, North Dakota. Take Saturday night and have Sunday in Minot, North Dakota at the Nodak Speedway. Take Monday off. Tuesday, we'll be at Ada, Minnesota at Norman County, and then off to the Gopher 50 at Deer Creek Speedway Thursday, Friday, Saturday to celebrate America's 250th birthday. Hot lap session #2 rolling on to the speedway. MD3 Rookie of the Year contender Trey Mills up to 10th in the World of Outlaws point standings after 141, the St. Augustine, Florida racer. 30 Outlaw starts, best finish 5th for the 17-year-old back at Independence Motor Speedway. There's Nick Hoffman. He leads the World of Outlaw drivers in the top 5 category with 24. Pierce is 2nd with 22, but here's the situation with Hoffman. 3 of his last 7 have been top 5s. Very odd stretch for Hoffman here. He's trying to turn it around on a stretch where he got 3 wins a year ago. Also on the speedway, the number 9, Tim McCready, who's currently 4th in the World of Outlaws point standings out of Watertown, New York. Tim McCready with that brand new race car had a really good run at 141 Speedway, looking for career win number 42 in his 526 Outlaw starts. This young driver coming off his career best with the Outlaws Saturday night. 6th place run for Dallin Murdy in his 7th Outlaw start. He'll make his 8th tonight. Dallin Murdy, 21-year-old, 2-time IMCA Stock Car Nationals champion. And he's going to be fun to watch here these next coming nights. Welcome back, Dustin Sorensen, and congratulations to him and Renee getting engaged over the weekend. Dustin Sorensen and at Altenburg Construction, number 19, 113 World of Outlaw start. Still looking for that first win, 2nd place at Brownstown and Humboldt. In the number 15, good to have her with us out of Fargo, North Dakota, Layla Eisenshank. Layla and the Jordow General Equipment number 15, 3rd year on and off in a late model. The young lady has 2 World of Outlaw feature starts. Her best finish 16th at Norman County last year on June 28th. Good to have both Layla and Amelia with us here this week, all the way through the Go for 50. We'll see Amelia in the last hot lap session. 4 hot lap session groups here today at Ogilvie Raceway, talking to the locals during the week, and of course today, they're all excited. This place slicks off nicely top to bottom. Hopefully that's the case again for us here tonight. Thank you to Nate and Angela and everyone here at Ogilvie Raceway for having us stop on by here. It's going to be a great night of racing action on a Monday night as hot lap session number 2. Time clocks in, and it's going to look like McCready going to be the fastest of this group. 5th quick overall, 15.683. Hoffman 6th, Trey Mills 7th, Dustin Sorensen 8th, and Dallin Murdy 9th, Brent Larson 10th. Dennis Erb Jr. still the quickest after 2 hot lap sessions at a 15.331 with that Dirt King Simulator's fastest hot lap. Tyler Earp 2nd, Wilson 3rd, Jake Tim 4th, and McCready in 5th. Hot lap session number 3, getting ready to roll onto the speedway. Drivers will exit and enter all night long. There in that exit and entry in turn number 3. So we'll get the final driver to exit there and get ready to welcome hot lap session number 3 onto the speedway. Race fans, by the way, if you have pop tabs, make sure to give us those pop tabs to our fan experience team as we will head to the Ronald McDonald House right before the Napa Auto Parts Go for 50. We're collecting those all year long, so thank you to everyone that has turned those in. Ethan Dodson on the speedway to Bakersfield, California. A great run for Dodson right now. 3 straight top 5s. This team has found something. I went down there and talked to them, and you could just tell the energy's up, the vibes are up, and they have been up for a while, and this team has really been clicking off some really good runs. Ethan Dodson looking for that 2nd World of Outlaws win of his career. Of course, won at Wild West Shootout earlier this year, trying to get that first with the Outlaws of the year in his 89th start tonight. Heartbreak for Drake Troutman, a driver that could have possibly won the feature on Saturday at 141 Speedway after having mechanical issues. Sideline him, Drake Troutman. Going to make his 88th Outlaw start tonight, the 20-year-old and 2025 World of Outlaws MD3 Rookie of the Year champion. Ryan Gustin at a Marshalltown, Iowa, currently 7th in the World of Outlaws point standings. Ryan Gustin in that Cooney Motorsports number 19R. Right behind him, the number 16. Good to have him with us, Tyler Bruning. Bruning plans on being with us for about 80% of the stretch here. The Decorah, Iowan, in a Longhorn, number 16. I wanted to note Murdy also in a Longhorn as well. And there's Jonathan Davenport. He's had 8 attempts at a World of Outlaws feature this year. He's qualified into 7 of them. No World of Outlaw wins yet, but he's finished 3rd 3 times in 2026. Gordy Gundaker in the 11 at a St. Charles, Missouri, the JB Salvage number 11 machine. And also the 20 TC, Tristan Chamberlain, final driver out there. The Gibson Racing 20 TC. This young man continues to improve night in, night out. Chamberlain going to make his 100th World of Outlaws feature start tonight. The 20 TC, career best, 3rd at Rocket Raceway Park back in Texas when we were there in 2024. Dennis Erb Jr. still atop of the charts. As we mentioned, this track tends to slick off very, very nicely top to bottom. So definitely track going to slow down. Dennis Erb Jr. from hot lap session number 1, still atop of the charts. Davenport going to go 8th quick, 15.760. Track record 14.186. We are not even within reach, as Dennis Erb Jr.'s fastest right now is a 15.331. Checkered flag gonna fly here in hot lap session number 3. And Drake Troutman is going to be the fastest out of this group, but that puts him 6th quick overall in hot laps at a 15.700. Still Dennis Erb Jr., a driver that also has been really good as of late in World of Outlaws competition. They spent that time at Rocket Chassis after Mansfield, after Eldora, then they go out and put on a great performance at West Virginia, and then West Virginia, and then 141. So Dennis Erb Jr. trying to keep that momentum rolling here tonight in that 28 as he's atop of the chart still here with the Dirt King Simulator's fastest hot lap. Final 2 cars making their exit down the back straightaway. We'll welcome the final hot lap group onto the speedway, and drivers will have a quick turnaround and get ready for World of Outlaws late model Mark Martin Automotive qualifying. Final group going to be led out by MD3 Rookie of the Year contender out of Hookstown, Pennsylvania, Logan Zarin. That All-American framer number 1, Z Zarin, getting his career best with the Outlaws at Wayne County end of last month. Going to make his 35th Outlaw start here tonight. In the number 15, that's going to be the number 19 X car. That is going to be James Trantina out of St. Joseph, Minnesota, the Collins Brothers Towing, number 19X. First year behind the wheel of a late model, about 15 nights under his belt, making his World of Outlaws debut in the 19X. In the 55E, that's MD3 Rookie of the Year contender out of Clewiston, Florida, the Clyde Johnson Contracting and Roofing 55E of Eli Johnson, getting his career best at top of the month. At a 12th place run at West Virginia Motor Speedway, he'll make his 20th Outlaw start here tonight. In the number 8, Matthew Larson at Lake Elmo, Minnesota. 4 World of Outlaws feature starts for the 20-year-old third-generation driver, and his 2nd year behind the wheel of a super late model. Best finish came on this swing a year ago, and Nodak got 13th. Welcome back. The announcement was made 12 days ago. They haven't tested, no laps, first time with the car on the racetrack. Cody Overton in the 97 and that Triple B Motorsports machine. Good to have Cody Overton. Of course, he started the year with us. Unfortunately, couldn't continue after Volusia. Best finish of the season so far, 7th on the 2nd night of the Federated Auto Parts Dirt Car Nationals at Volusia Speedway Park. There's the current World of Outlaws point leader and most recent winner on the tour, Pierce. 53rd World of Outlaw win, 11th of the season at 141. And the number 1, that is going to be Amelia Eisenshank. Amelia out of Fargo, North Dakota. 3rd year behind the wheel of a late model. Multiple 305 wing sprint car victories and lots of 410 starts and good results there as well. She has 2 Outlaw starts with us. Best finish, 17th 2 times. Norman County and Nodak last year. Those are all the drivers on the speedway. Bobby Pierce won 50 grand here just a couple seasons ago at an XR race, and Pierce will look to capitalize on experience from that event here with the Outlaws tonight. Track really slowing down. Across the checkered flag. Looks like Cody Overton was the quickest, 16th quick overall, 16.031. Oddly enough, Cody Overton is from Thompson, Georgia, but his first ever laps behind the wheel of a race car came right here at Ogilvie Raceway. How about that nugget right there? Thank you to Cody and the whole team for being here. That's awesome. Cody Overton, a late model. We hope to have him in an interview later on tonight. There's nothing better than a Cody Overton interview on DIRTVision. So Dennis Erb Jr. going to have the Dirt King Simulator's fastest hot lap here this evening. He will have an extra $100 courtesy of our friends at Dirt King Simulator. Make sure to go visit them down in Vendor Row and take a couple laps on the simulator. If you have the Dirt King Simulator's fastest hot lap on the simulator, you win a prize. So make sure to head on down there and grab your official merchandise and take some laps on the Dirt King Simulator's simulator. So Erb 15.331, track record 14.186 set by Daryl Lanigan. Not even close. as we will continue on with Mark Martin Automotive qualifying. Got to thank our friends at Mark Martin Automotive. Legendary racer Mark Martin brought his winning spirit home, founding Mark Martin Automotive in Batesville, Arkansas and Ash Flat, Arkansas. A selection of Ford, Chevy, GMC, the best selection in North Central Arkansas. Come see why they're driven to serve. Visit www.markmartinautomotive.com. Thanks to Mark Martin Automotive for providing us with this season's merch tow rig. You look at the quick times this season on the Outlaws, Nick Hoffman leads that category with 7 quick times on the year. And then you have 3 with Tim McCready, who's been qualifying well, 2 quick times for Bobby Pierce, and 1 quick time for Tyler Erb, Ethan Dotson, and believe it or not, Cody Overton earlier this season. We commence Group A, and it's going to be Ross Robinson leading us out of Georgetown, Delaware. The Stokely Materials, Commonwealth Equipment, Wesley Collins Builders, Del Morova Hydraulics, Stokely Speed and Supply, Rocket Clements, number 7, and the 58V Dalton Wilson. Out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, the Big Frog Motorsports, Big Frog Transportation, Viper Risk Management, Ocala Restaurant Supply, New Point Lighting and Design, B&L Construction, Innovative Community Solutions, number 58V. Ross Robinson will kick us off at a 15.969. Here comes Wilson, second quick at a 16.276. Ross Robinson, talked to him and his wife Amanda earlier today, loving all these racetracks up here. They said they're absolutely beautiful. And sure they are. Ross Robinson will not improve. 2/10 slower on lap number 2. Wilson will improve on lap number 2, but he'll stay second quick at a 16.171. Ross Robinson going to kick us off here in Mark Martin Automotive qualifying Group A at a 15.969. Up next, the local driver to keep your eye on, Skeeter Esty. Esty, a 2-time WISSOTA B-Mod national champion, making his World of Outlaws debut. 4th year behind the wheel of a late model out of Kelly Lake, Minnesota. The Rev 1, Don Blackshire powered, Superior Fuel, Shane & Sons Black Dirt and Gravel, Homer Bar, Northern Lumber, Versage Motorsports, Ed's Electric, number 37X, Skeeter Esty. And the number 28 out of Menominee, Wisconsin, the Vite Companies, Deppie Enterprises, TL Sins Plumbing, Army Contractors, Accurate Construction, Key Chevytown, Midstate Hydraulics, Shackleton Tree Service, Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning, Structural Buildings, number 28 MB Custom Pro Power for Sam Mars. SD third quick, 16.304. Sam Mars, we saw him at the Dairyland Showdown at Mississippi Thunder Speedway in May. Sam Mars will cross the line. He'll go 4th quick at a 16.692. Skeeter Esty coming around for lap number 2. Esty will not improve, that time a 10th slower. He'll stay 3rd quick. Sam Mars, best finish on the year with the Outlaws, 14th at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Sam Mars will improve on lap number 2, and he'll turn a 16.559 to go 4th quick. Skeeter Esty, 3rd quick at a 16.304, and it's still Ross Robinson, the Georgetown, Delaware racer, atop of the charts with the only 15-second lap time here in Mark Martin Automotive qualifying at a 15.969. A pair of Outlaws coming at you up next. Out of Lake Elmo, Minnesota, the Land of Pressure Washers, Fuel Factory, Hanco Corporation, T-Pec, The Real Cafe, TS Warehouse, Longhorn Chassis, Vic Hill Engine, number B1, the B1 Bomber, Brent Larson. The 2022 World of Outlaws Series champion out of Carpentersville, Illinois, the McBride Mac, Vomac Truck Sales, 5-Star Race Car Bodies, Fox Shocks, Riverton Party Store, VP Racing Fuels, PRC, Dundee Heating and Air Conditioning, Colin Signs, Rocket Clements, number 28, Dennis Erb Jr. Just had the Dirt King Simulator's fastest hot lap. We'll see if we can translate that here into qualifying as Brent Larson goes 3rd quick, 16.277. Dennis Erb Jr., 2nd quick, 16.052 for Dennis Erb Jr. Checkered flag in the air here for both drivers. Brent Larson will clock in lap number 2, that time a 10th slower. He'll stay 4th quick. And Dennis Erb Jr. will not improve as well, as he was just, oh boy, just by a 100th slower there. Dennis Erb Jr. identical lap times, but the first one's better to go 2nd quick at a 16.052, and Brent Larson 4th quick with lap number 1 at a 16.277. It's Ross Robinson, Dennis Erb Jr., Dalton Wilson, Brent Larson, the top 4. As the top 4 is where you want to be, that gives you a front row starting spot in the opening 2 heat races of the night. Up next, this driver's been red hot as of late. 6 straight top 5s out of New Waverly, Texas. The Best Performance Motorsports, Bulk Material Lift, First Class Septic, Coles County Speedway, Roberts Beat Company, Paul Construction, Anthony's Pizza, Langenfelder Mechanical Contractor, Sannywell, Sunoco, Go Lithium, Rocket Clements, number 1, Tyler Erb. Out of Winona, Minnesota, the Gorilla Mill, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Oak Ridge Fabrication, Horman's HVAC, On Demand Shirts, Rush Race Gear by Austin Witt, Stone Machinery, Willie's Carbon Dyno Shop, Swift Springs, Longhorn, Cornet 49, Jake Tim. Tyler Erb, 4th quick at a 16.243. Jake Tim will cross the line, 6th quick at a 16.282, coming off his season best with the Outlaws, a 9th. 141, and here comes Tyler Erb in the 1. He'll go faster, but remain 4th quick at a 16.179. Jake Tim will see the checkered flag here in the 49, and Jake Tim will not improve, that time a 10th slower. So Jake Tim, 6th quick with his opening lap at a 16.282. Tyler Erb better on lap number 2, 4th quick overall at a 16.179. Another pair of Outlaws coming at you. MD3 Rookie of the Year contender out of St. Augustine, Florida. The Mills Concrete Bilstein H&R Race Engines. Number 14 should be Trey Mills, but it looks like Nick Hoffman's going to come out next. So Nick Hoffman out of Mooresville, North Carolina. The Tytoric NOS Energy Drink, C&W Trucking, Lone Wolf Petroleum, Holdren Construction, Remtech Industries, Petroff Bilstein, Tri-Valley Equipment, Tytoric Performance Parts, Longhorn Clements Durham. Number 9, Nick Hoffman. There's Trey Mills out of St. Augustine, Florida. The Mills Concrete Bilstein, H&R Race Engines, FK Roddens, VP Racing Fuels by Boswell Oil, Kaiser Aluminum Wheels, Longhorn Clements. Number 14, Trey Mills. Nick Hoffman, 5th quick, 16.216. Here comes Mills for his opening lap. Mills will cross the line. He'll knock Hoffman down to 6th. He goes to 5th at a 16.213. Only 3/1000th of a second separated these two drivers on their opening laps. Hoffman will cross the line, 2nd quick at a 16.026 for Hoffman. Can Mills climb the charts here? He doesn't. He'll go slower by 0.2, so Mills will go 6th quick on his opening lap at a 16.213, and Nick Hoffman 2nd quick at a 16.026. It's still Ross Robinson with the only 15-second lap time here in Mark Martin Automotive qualifying at a 15.969 over Nick Hoffman, Dennis Erb Jr., and Dalton Wilson, the top 4 drivers currently in the front rows of the opening 2 heat races of the night. 10 of 15 have qualified. Up next, out of Fargo, North Dakota, it's going to be Layla Eisenshank and that Jordow, General Equipment, Ellingson, O'Day Equipment, DKW Trucking, Petro Stopping Centers, Longhorn Pro Power number 15, Layla Eisenshank, and out there as well, the number 78K, that's going to be Dexton Cook. Cook joins us out of Becker, Minnesota, the Collins Brothers Towing, Code Red Rental, Twin Cities Wrecker Sales, Granite City Motor Car, AMSOIL, Speedworks, American Racing Wheels, Momentum Truck Group, Rocket Pro Power number 78K. Eisenshank 11th quick, 16.820. Here comes Cook 12th quick at a 17.003. Cook, first year behind the wheel of a late model, 2025 Wasota Superstock National Champion, making his World of Outlaws debut. As Layla will cross the line, that time she'll go slower. She'll keep lap number 1, and Cook will improve to 11th quick, knocking Layla down to 12th. So Dexton Cook will go 11th quick at a 16.594, and Layla Eisenshank 12th quick at a 16.820. After 12, it's still Ross Robinson, Nick Hoffman, Dennis Erb Jr., and Dalton Wilson, the top 4. 3 drivers to go here in Mark Martin Automotive qualifying Group A, and up next we'll see Dustin Sorensen out of Rochester, Minnesota, the Altenburg Construction, Paulson Rock Products, J&S Repair, JCB Equipment, Rochester Chevrolet, 63 Club, Yagi Trucking, CBR Drilling, Owens by Longhorn Dynamics, Heavy Hitch, Redline Oils, PEM Rear Ends, VP Racing Fuels, Longhorn Pro Power number 19, and Dallin Murdy coming off his career best with the Outlaws out of Chelsea, Iowa, and the Longhorn Clements. Skyline Motorsports, Bruning Rock Products, Stealth Oil Well Services, Quality Services, Murdy Farms, Cash Money Motorsports, Fast Shafts, Quick Supply Co., Truck Country number 13. Sorensen 10th quick at a 16.538. Here comes Dallin Murdy. He'll go 10th quick at a 16.397, bumping Sorensen down to 11th. Checkered flag in the air here for Dustin Sorensen in the 19. Brand new race car, by the way, for Sorensen. He will not improve on lap number 2. As Dallin Murdy will also not improve on lap number 2. So Sorensen 11th quick at a 16.538, and Dallin Murdy 10th quick at a 16.397. No change And the top, as it's still Robinson, Hoffman, Erb, and Wilson with the final qualifier to go, and it's going to be Tim McCready. McCready, of course, he's been qualifying really well, as I mentioned, the top of qualifying. McCready with 3 quick times on the season. Final driver in the chute here in Group A in the Dave Warren Power Sports, Corey Rubber Corporation, Exis Storage, Johnstown Hydraulics, One Rail, Sherlock Ventures, Flawless Roofing, Trans 58 Bricks, Transport, Clyde Johnson Contracting and Roofing, Longhorn Clements, number 9, T-Mac, Tim McCready. McCready, a winner on this swing a year ago, won at Nodak. McCready trying to get back to the top here. And McCready will go 11th quick, 16-4, 6-4. As McCready, brand new race car as well. Peyton did a great job talking about him in the pre-race show. If you're not tuning into those, always tune in 15 minutes before scheduled hot lap time for our DIRTVision pre-race show. McCready will go faster on lap number 2, 16.398. But no one's going to stop him. Ross Robinson will have the front row with the 28 of Dennis Erb Jr. as we take a look at the DIRTVision replay. Ross Robinson's 15.969 second lap time, and that's Stokely Materials number 7. Peyton, Ross Robinson, the only driver with a 15-second lap time here tonight. He's off to a great start.
Ross the boss, a big smile on his face, and Ross, you're the only driver with a sub-16-second lap. You do it in the first group here in group number A. Did it feel like that strong of a lap to be able to hold on for the duration of this first group?
It felt okay, to be honest, but I mean, the pill draw definitely didn't hurt us one at all. Being the first car out definitely, I think, helped give us a little bit of help tonight, but who would have thought I had to come to Minnesota to get a fast time? But it's just me and Amanda out here, and thank our car owners, Kenny and Tracy, and everybody that's part of this for sending us out here and just trying to learn and make our program better for around races around home and just have some fun. And I got to thank Melvin for the pool noodle too.
Hailing from the state of Delaware, he did make the trip all the way out here to Minnesota, and I'm sure that he's happy that he did. Ruben, his first quick time here in 2026, at least for Group A. We still have one group left, but a best finish of 8th here in 2026, a strong start to the night to try to best that here this evening.
Yeah, Ross Robinson, we thank him so much for coming. I mean, all the way from Georgetown, Delaware. We were there just a couple of months ago, and glad to have him out here on this swing. Ross Robinson has never had a quick time with the Outlaws if no one tops it here in Mark Martin Automotive Qualifying Group B. That'll be his first career quick time with the Outlaws. All right, we commence Group B. Drake Troutman out of Heidemann, Pennsylvania, the G.R. Smith Motorsports Team 22 Incorporated, Victory Circle Auto Sales, Gambler Transport, Brickhouse Tavern, Lake House Wine Bar, Mesilla Valley Transportation, ShopTeam22.com, Dirt King Apparel, Bill Stein, Longhorn Vic Hill, number 22 star in the 49, Jonathan Davenport out of Blairsville, Georgia, the Ace Door and Nutrient Ag Solutions, ASC Warranty, Mark Martin Automotive, Mega Plumbing in the Carolinas, Bill Stein by Longhorn Dynamics, VP Racing Fuel, Midwest Sheet Metal, Longhorn Cornet, number 49, Jonathan Davenport. Troutman going to kick us off here in Group B, 16.557. Here comes Davenport. He'll go to the top of the chart, 16.423 for Davenport. Troutman, can he go back to the top of the charts here on lap number 2? He'll clock in slower that time, just by a 10th. Troutman second quick, 16.557 on lap number 1. Can Davenport raise the bar? He does. 16.260 for Jonathan Davenport. Again, 16.260 for Jonathan Davenport. Drake Troutman will take lap number 1, go second quick at a 16.557. Next two cars getting ready to roll into the speedway. Ethan Dotson in the 74X, 3 straight top 5s. Trying to continue that trend here tonight at Bakersfield, California. The ASD Motorsports, Jarrett Rifles, North Augusta Customs, Excel Flooring, Taco John's, Brad Benton Trucking, BK Grading and Paving, Olin Shocks by Longhorn Dynamics, Contractor Services of Aiken, Boswell Oil, Precise Seal Coating, Torkel Racing Oils, American Racing Wheels, H&A Development, Longhorn Clements, number 74X, and Gordy Gundaker to St. Charles, Missouri. The JV Salvage, Hoker Trucking, Vanilla Cycles, Rockwell Security, Ted Brown's Quality Paint and Body, Kaiser McKay, K1 Race Gear, St. Louis Screw and Bolt, RLM Enterprise, Longhorn Clements, number 11. Dotson, third quick at a 16.586 on his opening lap. Here comes Gordy Gundaker. He'll take third at a 16.577. Dotson now bumped down to fourth, but can answer the call here on his final lap. Dotson will cross the line. He will not improve. That time just 2/1,000th of a second slower. 16.586 was his opening lap. 16.588 was his second lap. And Gordy Gundaker not going to improve as well, as he is 2/10 slower at a 16.780. So Dodson will keep lap 1, 16.586, and Gordy Gundaker will also keep lap number 1, third quick at a 16.577. It's Davenport, Troutman, Gundaker, and Dodson after 4. These 4 drivers can start in the front row of heats 3 and 4, but of course still a long way to go here, as we have 15 drivers in Group B. Ryan Gustin up next out of Marshalltown, Iowa. The Cooney Motorsports, Hoker Trucking, Custom Fabricating and Repairer, Carl Chevrolet, Allen Seamless Gutters, Murdy Farms, VP Racing Fuels, Heartland, Mel Hambleton Ford Racing, Tire Demon by Tim Love, Dynamic Drivelines, Peak Decals, Midwest Sheet Metal, Bilstein Infinity, Vic Hill, J. Dickens, number 19R for Gustin, and Tristan Chamberlain out of Richmond, Indiana. The Gibson Racing, Vision Woodworks, Vision Homes, DC Fabrication, Pardo's Towing Service, Burt Transmission, Longhorn Spec, 20TC. Gustin second quick at a 16.544. And Chamberlain, 6th quick, 16.873. Checkered flag in the air. Here for Ryan Gustin. Can he go a spot better? He goes faster, but Gustin will stay second quick, 16.475. 2/10 off the top spot at Davenport. Chamberlain has work to do on lap number 2. He does go faster, but remains 6th quick at a 16.835. So Chamberlain, 6th quick, 16.835. Ryan Gustin with a great lap, second quick at a 16.475. It is still Jonathan Davenport with a time to beat in Group B at a 16.260. Up next, the 2021 World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year. To Decorah, Iowa, the Skyline Motorsports, Bruning Rock Products, Quick Supply Company, Truck Country, JW Bell, Brown's Heavy Equipment, Murdy Farms, Hovden Oil, Olson Explosives, VP Racing Fuels, Cash Money Motorsports, Longhorn Clements, number 16, Tyler Bruning. Also on the Speedway, the number 19X, that's going to be James Trantina, making his World of Outlaws debut in that Collins Brothers Towing, Code Red Rentals, Twin Cities Wrecker Service, Granite City Motor Car, Amsoil Speedworks, number 19X. Bruning, 6th quick, 16.698. Trantina the 3rd, 8th quick at 17.270. Bruning in the 16 will get ready to cross the line for his final lap. As Bruning will cross the line and will not improve that time. 4/10 slower. Trantina will improve at a 17.256. So James Trantina going to go 8th quick, and Tyler Bruning is going to go 6th quick with lap number 1 at a 16.698. Bruning's best finish of the season, 13th on the opening night of the Dairyland Showdown at Mississippi Thunder Speedway, trying to better that here tonight. We continue on here in Group B. Welcome back, Cody Overton. The announcement was made 12 days ago. No practice, no nothing. First time on the racetrack out of Thompson, Georgia. The Triple B Motorsports, Cullen Brothers Towing, M&M Painting and Construction, Granite Hauling and Grading, M&S Concrete, Budweiser, Tribble Electric, S&S Fishing and Rental, Boswell Oil, Kickliner Company, Longhorn Clements, number 97, Cody Overton, and the current point leader out of Oakwood, Illinois, the Low Voltage Solutions, Churchill Transportation, Peterson Drywall and Painting, Cullen Brothers Towing, Rio Grande Waste Services, Pontiac RV, number 32, Bobby Pierce. Overton 7th quick, 16.810. Pierce will cross the line 7th quick. He'll bump Overton down to 8th with a 16.766. Winner here just a couple years ago, winning 50 grand. But here comes Overton. Overton will not improve. Overton's first laps in a race car came right here at Ogilvie, believe it or not, being a Georgia native. Pierce, 2nd quick, 16.426. So Cody Overton, 8th quick in his opening lap at a 16.810, and Bobby Pierce with a whopping 2nd lap to put him 2nd quick at a 16.426. So now it's Jonathan Davenport, Bobby Pierce, Ryan Gustin, and Drake Troutman, the top 4. Up next, out of Lake Elmo, Minnesota, the Fuel Factory, Hanco Corporation, TS Warehouse, Longhorn Pro Power, number 8, Matthew Larson. And also on the Speedway, Logan Zarin, out of Hookstown, Pennsylvania, MD3 Rookie of the Year contender. The All-American Framer, Brandon's Lawn and Landscape, Global Enterprise, Valvoline, Napa Auto Parts, Zarin Truck and Auto, Wedge Motorsports, VG Performance, Close Racing Supply, Point Spring and Drive Shaft, Longhorn Durham, number 1Z, Logan Zarin. Matthew Larson, 7th quick at a 16.593. Here comes Zarin. He'll cross the line 9th quick at a 16.776. Matthew Larson, 20-year-old third-generation driver, of course, son to Brent Larson. He'll cross the line. Matthew Larson will not improve, 16.593. And Logan Zarin will also depend on lap number 1. So both drivers taking lap number 1. Logan Zarin 9th quick at a 16.776, and Matthew Larson 7th quick at a 16.593. Just 3 drivers to qualify here this evening. Before we get ready for opening ceremonies, it's going to be Amelia Eisenschenk. Amelia hails out of Fargo, North Dakota. The Jerdau General Equipment, Ellingson, O'Day Tank and Steel, DKW Trucking, Petro Stopping Center, Schatz Crossroads, Shaw Trucking, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Longhorn Durham, number 1, Amelia Eisenschenk. MD3 Rookie of the Year contender out of Clewiston, Florida. The Clyde Johnson Contracting and Roofing Performance, Napa Total Claim Source, 7 Peak Steel, Michael Johnson Productions, Longhorn Chassis, Eagle Powered, number 55E, Eli Johnson. Coming off his career best just a little over a week ago at West Virginia. Here comes Amelia. She'll go 12th quick at a 17.058. Eli Johnson will cross the line 9th quick at a 16.744. Johnson 12th at West Virginia Motor Speedway. Going to make his 20th Outlaw start here tonight. Here comes Amelia for lap number 2. She improved 16.972. Great second lap for her. And Eli Johnson will not improve, 2/10 slower. So Amelia will go 13th quick at a 16.972. Eli Johnson 9th quick at a 16.744. Right now, it's Jonathan Davenport and Ryan Gustin in the front row of heat race number 3, and then Bobby Pierce and Drake Troutman on the front row of heat race number 4. Of course, if no changes after this, with 1 qualifier to go, you'll find the number 24. That's going to be Jace Lean out of Mora, Minnesota, a late check-in after the drivers' meeting. That Perfection Auto Glass Racers X Performance Parts Lean Designs at number 24, making his World of Outlaws debut, Jace Lean. Time to beat 16.260 over Pierce, Gustin, Troutman, and you have Gordy Gundaker, Ethan Dotson, Matthew Larson, Tyler Bruning, Eli Johnson, and Logan Zarin in the top 10. Jace Lean will cross the line for his opening lap in the 24. He'll go 15th quick at an 18.622, 18.622. Final qualifier on the speedway. He's going to let off down the back straightaway. And it looks like that'll do it. So Jonathan Davenport will have the front row with the number 19R Ryan Gustin as he turns the fastest qualifying lap in Group B at a 16.260. Bobby Pierce and Drake Troutman will have the front row. Heat race number 4. Let's go downstairs to Peyton.
Talked about it in pre-race, but for Superman, it's his first visit to Ogilvie Raceway. JD, you take to the track for the very first time a couple minutes ago, post-quick time. You got to be happy with that, right?
Yeah, for sure. I guess our guess was pretty close. So we was just had to change just a few things there from hot laps. The track didn't change a whole lot from hot laps, but it did slow down. So the pill draw helped us out a little bit going out early in Group 2. But hey, we'll take all the luck we can get. But yeah, good way to start off this week and a half, 2-week trip here we got. So.
Got Jonathan Davenport with us on this swing, Ruben. That's why he's one of the best. He showed up here today for the first time and goes quick time in Group B.
Yeah, Davenport, of course, would love to get that first World of Outlaws win of the season. Of course, 3 third-place finishes with us this season. Ross Robinson becomes the 152nd different driver to have a quick time as he gets his first tonight, the only 15-second lap time at a 15.969. There you see it on DIRTVision. Ross Robinson, tonight's overall quick time qualifier from Georgetown, Delaware. That's going to do it for Hot Laps and Mark Martin Automotive Qualifying. We get ready for opening ceremonies in just a few moments for everyone watching around the world on DIRTVision. You're watching coverage from the World of Outlaws Land of Lakes Classic here at Ogilvie Raceway.
At Kaiser Manufacturing, our commitment to engineering and developing new products is reflected in the wide range of fabricated items we produce for the manufacturing and retail industries. From simple to complex fabrication, we can do that. We have a full team of engineers ready to take your concept from prototype to full production. Call us for a quote today to see your next idea brought to life. Kaiser Manufacturing, proud to be Michigan made.
MD3, the most advanced body panels on the market. Aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials, tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. MD3, the #1 body choice for top dirt racers.
Race fans, the star-spangled World of Outlaws Late Model Series powers into Minnesota's Deer Creek Speedway July 2nd through the 4th. Don't miss the fireworks when the biggest names in racing battle in the historic Gopher 50. Celebrate 250 years of independence with the most powerful late models on the planet at Deer Creek Speedway. Purchase tickets in advance at worldofoutlaws.com or call 844-DIRT-TIX. Be there.
Welcome back to everyone watching around the world on DIRTVision. If you're barely tuning in, DIRTVision on your screen or wherever you're watching from around the world, you haven't missed much, as Dennis Erb Jr. had the Dirt King Simulator's fastest hot lap here this evening, and then Ross Robinson just went quick time for the first time in his career. Race fans, please direct your attention to the big screen here. The World of Outlaws is more than just the world's best drivers and fastest race cars on dirt. It is built with passionate fans and the best fans in motorsports. Tonight we are proud to recognize our World of Outlaws fan ambassadors who go above and beyond to share the grit and glory of this sport. Joining us tonight as our official World of Outlaws ambassador is Lori Hipsag from Elk River, Minnesota. Lori has been sharing the World of Outlaws spirit from her hometown to right here in Ogilvie, Minnesota, encouraging others to come and experience the greatest shows on dirt. As a token of our appreciation, the World of Outlaws are proud to present a custom ambassador kit and exclusive VIP experience for tonight's race. Race fans, let's hear it one more time for your fan ambassador, Lori Hipsag. Thank you for being the heartbeat of the greatest shows on dirt. ready for opening ceremonies down there in just a few moments. As again, thank you to our fan ambassadors so much. They go above and beyond to make sure to promote these events. And thank you, race fans, for all coming out here on a Monday night. We understand a lot of you probably just got out of work and probably have to work in the morning, so we'll try to give you a good, efficient show. And thank you all so much for coming out here and spending your hard-earned money with us. And now we go downstairs to Peyton Williams.
Yeah, thanks, Ruben. 7 years removed from the last visit for the Outlaws here at Ogilvie Raceway, and now we're just minutes away from seeing them take back this racing surface in Minnesota tonight. Race fans, thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you to those that are watching on DIRTVision as well. For those that are here, we ask that you rise as you are able. And gentlemen, please remove your hats as Kevin Griggs with Racing with Jesus Ministries is here tonight to offer up the invocation.
Let's go, Lord, in prayer. Heavenly Father, we love you, we honor you, we worship you, and we are so appreciative of all the opportunities you put in front of us every day, like the opportunity to come to the racetrack on a school night. This is awesome. Father, we are so thankful for the love that you share with us and we get to share with you. But tonight, Father, we pray for safety on the track, safety for our pit officials and the race crews, and it is a wonderful opportunity to be here, the show that the Wagman brothers put on. This is a nice facility in the World Racing Group being here. Father, thank you for our men and women in blue, our first responders. And I know there's a bunch of veterans in the stands here, Father, because I've seen them. We are so appreciative of them as well. Some of them gave everything they had so that we could be here as free people enjoying the greatest sport there is, dirt track racing in Ogilvie, Minnesota. Father, thanks for loving us, and thanks for allowing us to be all that we can be. In your glorious name we pray. Amen.
And fans, we're not too far from our neighbors to the north, so we ask that you stay standing for the playing of the Canadian National Anthem. And fans, please remain standing now for the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner. Well, race fans, thank you so much. It's time to go racing here at Ogilvie Raceway. The World of Outlaws late models presented by DIRTVision coming up in the next few minutes. But first, the Wissota Midwest Modifieds.
Thank you very much, Peyton. Scott Teefs, the voice of Ogilvie Raceway, joins us in the broadcast booth. Scott, good evening to you, my friend. Glad to be here once again. I know it's been a long wait for the Outlaws to come back, but we are happy to be back here, my friend. And we are also joined by the Wissota Midwest Modifieds. Now, I've seen these guys before. They put on a good show.
Yeah, they certainly do put on a great show. As they come rolling out here for the first of three, the Midwest Modifieds being brought to you here in 2026 by Hobby Farm RC Speedway. Lineup's going to look like this. Driver that'll go from the inside of the front row. Races out of St. Cloud, sitting that NewWorldSalvage.com. Jake's Welding, DM Motors 9M. That'll be Jake Molitor rolling from inside of row 1, going to his outside. Out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, the Capital Motor Company, DeGraw Commercial Group 00. That should be Joe Swearingen. Next row back on the inside, he is a 5-time feature winner racing out of Siren. And that Gentleman's Hardware, Hank Hopkins, Sand and Gravel 11R. That should be Landon Rant. Rolling to Landon's outside. This driver out of Becker in the Kodat Trucking. Nutrient Ag Solutions 77. That should be Chance Kodat. Next row back on the inside, this driver calling Hugo home. And that AC Graphics and Apparel 88T. That should be Jacob Tepper. And going to Tepper's outside, this driver calling St. Cloud home. And that second generation Chimneys. East Central Sports 515. That should be Chad Fouquet. Fourth row back on the inside, racing out of Savage in the Wheeler Race Cars, BSB Manufacturing Red 1. That should be Dan Wheeler, and going to Wheeler's outside, that should be Jason Brott. Brott racing out of St. Cloud. Final row to the inside, that should be Ross Cedar. Cedar out of Esco, sitting at Trillion Services 3D Construction 21R. Ross Cedar going to start inside of row 5. And the final driver on the field here in Heat 1, he calls North Branch home. And the BCR Auto Detailing 7G, that should be Rick Grams. So once again, first of three for your Midwest Modifieds. Once again, Hobby Farm RC Speedway on board for the Midwest Modifieds here in 2026 as we roll them around after throwing a little bit of water down on the Ogilvie Raceway. Hey, thanks for spending your Monday night here at the Ogilvie Raceway. Beautiful afternoon, beautiful evening getting set for the World Outlaw late models here. And we can't thank you enough for spending your Monday night with us. Looks like we should be about ready to go here very quickly. Once again, Jake Molitor, the St. Cloud, Minnesota racer in that 9M, going to roll from the inside of the front row. And it'll be Joe Swearingen out of Eau Claire racing to the outside in that 00. Landon Rant in the 11R, the Siren, Wisconsin racer, a 5-time winner, 33 career wins for the young racer, as I mentioned, out of Siren. And then Chance Kodat out of Becker in the 77K. Jacob Tepper going to go from inside of row 3, sitting in that 88T. And Devin Fouquet racing out of St. Cloud in that 515. Dan Wheeler in the red 1, calling Savage, Minnesota home. He'll go from inside of row 4. Jason Brott, the St. Cloud racer, in the 14. He'll go from the outside of row 4. Ross Cedar calling Esco, Minnesota home. And that 21R starting inside of row 5, and Rick Grams, as I mentioned, out of North Branch in the 7G. So roll them around here a few times. As I mentioned, threw some water down on the racetrack. I want to make sure this thing is absolutely perfect. As I mentioned, we will have 3 Hobby Farm RC Speedway Midwest Modified heat races for you fans. And then 4 late model heat races. Ruben be on the call for those. 40 lap A-main later on tonight. $12,000 to the winner. If you get the opportunity, stop inside, get yourself something to eat, something to drink. Also, the Ogilvie boys basketball selling the 50-50 tonight. Stop at the table right when you walk into the concession stand located on your left as you walk by the shirt shack. And when you're walking by the shirt shack, you might as well get some Ogilvie Raceway apparel. Also, souvenir trailers are open outside the main grandstand. So caution lights getting set to drop down around the Ogilvie Raceway. 8 trips around. Jake Molitor and Joe Swearingen going to bring this field back to the green flag. Landon Rant, Chance Kodat, Jacob Tepper, Devin Fouquet, Dan Wheeler, and Jason Brott, Ross Cedar, Rick Grams. First of 3 for your Midwest Modifieds. We're about underway. Green flag waving high in the air. Jake Molitor going to battle down the back straightaway with Joe Swearingen here in the opening lap. Swearingen going to work to the outside of the 9M as they roll through turns 3 and 4. Who's going to be your opening lap leader as they drive off at turn 4? It'll be Joe Swearingen in that 00. Swearingen, Jake Molitor, that'll be your first two. Landon Rant and Devin Fouquet going to race side by side. Joe Swearingen continues to lead here early in Heat 1. Swearingen, Molitor, Rant, Devin Fouquet, Dan Wheeler battling with Chance Caudette still here in the early going. As the caution flag will fly here for Jason Brott facing the wrong direction over there in turn 4. So under caution here early. Handful of laps recorded. As I mentioned, this is Heat 1 of 3 for your Hobby Farm RC Speedway Midwest Modifieds tonight. All heat races will be 8 laps in distance. Going to take the top 6. The rest will have to come through a semi-feature later on tonight. So Brod has that 14 refired. He'll tag on to the back of the field. We'll reset the lineup when we should be about ready to go. So Joe Swearingen, your early race leader, the Eau Claire, Wisconsin driver, started outside of the front row. So it'll be Joe Swearingen, Jake Molitor, Devin Fouquet. Fouquet got a feature win in that thing a few weeks ago. Landon Rant, the 5-time feature winner inside of row 3, and Chance Caudette to the outside. So 2 laps have been scored, 6 remain. Joe Swearingen going to bring this field back to the green flag. Joe Swearingen going to jump out front, but Devin Fouquet with a great restart of that 5:15. He'll drive his way to second. He'll look to the rear bumper, that 00. Landon Rant has cleared the 9M of Jake Molitor. He'll set his sights on those first 2 as Joe Swearingen continues to lead in the 00. Swearingen, Devin Fouquet, Jake Molitor back to the inside of Rant. He'll take over 3rd, put Rant back to 4th, and the battle for 5th continues between Chance Caudette and Dan Wheeler in that red 1 as we've hit the halfway point here in Heat 1. And Joe Swearingen's got company and Devin Fouquet in that 5:15. Joe Swearingen trying to hold off a charging Devin Fouquet in the 5:15. Jake Molitor, Landon Rant, and Chance Caudette, your first 5. Dan Wheeler in that final transfer spot in the red 1. As they race off at turn 4, Devin Fouquet is there. Joe Swearingen continues to lead from the outside of the front row. The Eau Claire, Wisconsin racer trying to finish what he started from the outside of the front row. Devin Fouquet back to the bottom in 5:15, and Jake Molitor is still there. It'll be 2 more trips around this time for Joe Swearingen at 00. Swearingen has led them all. See if he can hang on as Molitor and Devin Fouquet continue to battle for 2nd. Landon Rand is still 4th. The battle continues for 5th between Chance Caudette and Dan Wheeler. That'll be your first 6 as the white flag will wave this time by. 1 more trip around for Joe Swearingen in 00. Devin Fouquet in the 5:15 and Jake Molitor in that 9M. Final trip down the back straightaway. Devin Fouquet is not done yet. Going to give it 1 more shot. Devin Fouquet going to dive to the inside of Joe Swearingen. See if Swearingen can cross him over. They'll race off at turn 4. Checkered flag waving high in the air for Joe Swearingen. So there you have it. That'll do it for Heat 1. Great way to start out tonight. 3rd will go to the 9M of Jake Molitor. Runner-up to the 5:15 of Devin Fouquet. And your winner, he's out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, sitting in that Capital Motor Company, DeGraw Commercial Group, Baxter Engines, Jayhawk Transport, CRC Motorsports. Your winner, a Heat 1 at 00, Joe Swearingen. So Heat 2 getting set to come rolling on out. Lineup's going to look like this. Driver that'll go from the inside of the front row here in Heat 2. He races out of Scandia, sitting in that East Central Sports, Minnesota Motorsports and Performance, and Matt Tracks 23. That'll be Mitch Weiss starting inside of row 1 and going to Mitch's outside. This driver calling Isanti home, sitting in that Little Red Wagon Childcare Grandy 9 Golf Course and General Corrosion Corporation 2M. That should be Ariel Mueller. Next row back on the inside in that Co-Motorsports 62K. That'll be Ryan Coe out of Isabella starting inside of row 2. Into his outside, that should be Joey Jensen. Jensen racing out of Forest Lake, sitting in that Sauer Power, McClafferty Contracting, Aero Building Center, East Central Sports 30. Jensen going to roll from the outside of the second row. Third row back on the inside had a top 3 finish on Saturday night here at the Ogilvie Raceway. That'll be Joey Wagaman. Wagaman out of Coon Rapids, the Wagaman brothers, Diamond Jills, Wrist Rocks and Stuff, and Metro Gas Installers 4W. Joey going to start inside of row 3, and then it should be Justin Bassa racing out of Cotton and the Millers Roofing and Siding, El Toro Lounge, Doghouse Bar and Grill, and Wilbert Cafe going to start outside of row 3. Fourth row back on the inside, that should be Paul Ripley. Ripley calling Duluth, Minnesota home, sitting in that Johnson Wilson Constructors Quarter 53 Car Wash, KB Plumbing 28. He will start inside of row 4. Then that should be Cody Giles. Giles racing out of Oakdale in the Kendall's Ace Hardware G1. He'll start outside of row 4. Fifth and final row to the inside, that should be Liz Tepper. Tepper out of Hugo and the AC Graphics and Apparel 24T going to start inside of row 5. And the final driver on the field racing out of Isanti, sitting in that Little Red Wagon Childcare, Grandy 9 Golf Course, Craig's Heating, Sunoco Fuel Home Improvement, and American Pressure North in 25. That should be Adam Bowman. So there you have it. That will be your lineup for Heat 2 of 3 for your Hobby Farm RC Speedway Midwest Modifieds tonight. Hey, a little bit of an update on that 50-50 for the Ogilvie boys basketball team. Just over $1,000 to the winner as of right now. That was the update I was just giving. So you're going to take home $1,000. So Mitch Weiss in that 23 going to go from the inside of the front row. Ariel Mueller will race to the outside of the 2M. Ryan Coe inside of row 2 in the 62K. And I mentioned Joey Jensen to the outside of the second row. Joey looking for win number 6 on the season. He has 3 in the Midwest Modifieds, 2 in the Super Stocks. 191 career wins for Joey as he approaches the 200 career total mark. He has 23 career wins here at the Ogilvie Raceway. He'll race to the outside of row 2. Joey Wagaman, as I mentioned, had a great run last weekend. Starting inside of row 3, Justin Bassa out of Cotton to the outside of the 69, beat Paul Ripley and Cody Giles. Liz Tepper, Adam Bowman. Once again, that will be your field here in Heat 2 of 3 for your Hobby Farm RC Speedway Midwest Modifieds. So I'm going to roll them around here a few more times. Throw a little more water down on the racetrack. I'd like to take the time to thank all our sponsors on board with us here in 2026. Dean's Heating and Air Conditioning, Hunt Electric, Blaze Credit Union, Napa Auto Parts, Minnesota Truck Headquarters, Malacca Meats, Capella Machine Electronics, Architect Mechanical, Loeffler, West Metro Buick GMC, Blaine Brothers, JPW Jobbers Warehouse Supply, Plunkett's Pest Control, Olson Power and Equipment, Thomas Snow Sports, J&B Manufactured Homes, Structural Buildings, Mike's Auto Body, Septic Check, Pine Technical and Community College, Shaw Trucking, Wellia Health, Quick Trip, Gave Garage Door, Hair Trigger Gun Shop, BCI Construction, Quality Disposal, Hjort Excavating, the Grand Event Center, Crawford's Equipment, Go Savvy Social, Northern State Bank, Days Floor Standing, Buds Jones and Sons, the Army, Tower Bar, Onamia Auto Sales, Federated Co-ops, Mora and Ogilvie, Absolute Portable Toilets, Minnesota Equipment, East Central Energy, Ron Hines Electric, Minneapolis Saw, Ultra Plumbing, Good to Go Auto Glass, DK Designs and K2 Fabricating, John Hummel at Morris Chevrolet, Dirt Race Central, Springbrook Golf, Ann River Winery, Bassett's Greenhouse, Iron Horse Farms, Tree Service, Novus Auto Glass, EMR Recycling. Thank you guys all for helping out here at the Ogilvie Raceway in 2026. Also like to take the time to thank our class sponsors, Capella Machine Electronics, Pat Capella, thank you so much for what you do for the late models and all of racing. Dirt Race Central on board as our modified class sponsor. Morris Chevrolet is our Westota Superstock class sponsor. As I mentioned all night long, Hobby Farm RC Speedway is the class sponsor in the Midwest Modifieds. Racers X, your street stock class sponsor in East Central Sports. Mac Johnston on board once again with the Hornets here in 2026. So not sure what happened to Joey Jensen. Slated to start outside of the second row. The Forest Lake, Minnesota racer rolling off on the back straightaway. So a tough break for Joey Jensen. The 5-time feature winner here in 2026. 3 of them in the Midwest Modifieds, 2 in the Super Stocks. So Mitch Weiss and Ariel Mueller will bring this field back to the green flag. Ryan Coe and Joey Wagaman now from the second row. Justin Bassa and Paul Ripley. It'll be Cody Giles and Liz Tepper. And then Adam Bowman, that'll be the final starter. Once again scheduled for 8 laps, heat 2 of 3 for your Hobby Farm RC Speedway Midwest Modifieds. Green flag flying high above the Ogilvie Raceway. Mitch Weiss going to battle with Ariel Mueller down the back straightaway here in the opening lap. Heat 2 of 3 for your Hobby Farm RC Speedway Midwest Modifieds tonight. Mitch Weiss going to drive off at turn 4 and lead lap 1 in that 23. Ariel Mueller going to settle in behind Mitch, going to drive to the rear bumper. Joey Wagaman now will race to third. Justin Bassa, Cody Giles, and Ryan Coe. That'll be your first 6. Paul Ripley actually now to 6th in that 28 after 1 lap has been scored. Mitch Weiss continues to lead the way in that 23, the Scandia, Minnesota racer. Mitch Weiss from the inside of the front row trying to run away and hide, make Ariel Mueller and Joey Wagaman battle it out behind him. Still very, very early here in Heat 2 for the Scandia, Minnesota racer, and we are under caution for Justin Bassa over there on the back straightaway, just entering turn 3 up against the wall. So we got a few scored as we will reset the field, as I mentioned, to Mitch Weiss, your early race leader. Mitch looking for his first feature win of the year in that 23. So we check on the 69 of Justin Bassa over there. See if he'll be able to continue on or not. Looks like he may need the assistance of the wreckers and backs up to that 69. So as I mentioned, Mitch Weiss, your early race leader, looking for win number 1 on the season. Ariel Mueller in that 2, sitting second. Joey Wagaman, then it'll be Cody Giles, followed by Paul Ripley in that 28. Ryan Coe in the 62K, Adam Bowman, and then the 24 of Liz Tepper. That'll be your field. Joey Jensen not taking the green flag. Pulled off the racetrack right before we dropped the green. So see if Joey can get things fixed up and have to qualify through a semi-feature later on tonight. So Justin Bassa in that 69B gonna get some help getting back to his trailer in the pit area. Once again, we'll have 4 late model heat races for you fans tonight here on a Monday night at the Ogilvie Raceway. So still trying to get Justin down into the infield, and then we should be about ready to resume here in Heat 2. Heat 3 setting in the staging area, going to come rolling on out, and then I'll turn things back over to Ruben with the first of 4 late model heat races for you fans tonight. So going to get Justin Bassa back to the pit area, see if he can make the repairs on that 69 and tag on in a semi-feature as Mitch Weiss and company going to get the 1 to go from your starter this time by. Daniel Harstead once again in the flag stand tonight. It looks like no 1 to go. We are going green here in Heat 2 for your Midwest Modifieds. Mitch Weiss going to get the jump from the front row, driving down the back straightaway, trying to stretch it as he did earlier tonight. Joey Wagaman going to race to second now in that 4W, and then it'll be Ariel Mueller in that 2M, your first 3 as they drive off at turn 4. Mitch Weiss still your race leader at 23. Weiss, Wagaman, Ariel Mueller, Paul Ripley, Cody Giles, Adam Bowman. That'll be your first 6. Remember, the top 6 advancing to the A main later on tonight. Everyone else will have to work their way through a semi-feature, but it's been all about Mitch Weiss as we've hit the halfway point here in 23. Mitch Weiss just cruising around the Ogilvie Raceway. Joey Wagaman comfortably to second. Ariel Mueller is third. Keep an eye on that battle for fourth. Paul Ripley trying to work his way to the outside of the G1 of Cody Giles. And then it's Adam Bowman. Once again, your first 6 remain the same, followed by Ryan Coe in that 62K. And then the 24 of Liz Tepper. No problem so far for Mitch Weiss, your race long leader. Mitch started inside of the front row, has led them all. It'll be 2 to go this time by for Mitch Weiss at 23. Joey Wagaman in that 4W, and then Cody Giles now going to race his way to third in the G1. Mitch Weiss continues to lead. Joey Wagaman and Cody Giles now your first 3. This time by White Flag getting set to fly. One more trip around for Scandia Minnesota racer Mitch Weiss in that 23. Joey Wagaman comfortably to second in the 4W, and then it'll be Cody Giles in a battle for fourth. Once again, top 6 to the A-main later on tonight. Mitch Weiss, your race long leader, going to drive down the back straightaway. The Scandia Minnesota racer going to drive through turn 3. He'll roll off at turn 4, point that thing straight. Your winner, heat 2, will be Mitch Weiss in 23. So that will do it for Heat 2. Third, we'll go to the G1 of Cody Giles, runner up to the 4W of Joey Wagaman, and your winner of the Matt Tracks, Apple Autos, East Central Sports, Minnesota Motorsports, and Performance Metro Performance Fuels, Fuel Factory, Factory 43 Motorsports, Randy Hansen Race Engines, Buzz Signs and Graphics, Freedom Race Lifts, Loft Tech, and Kelvin's Handyman Service. Your winner of Heat 2. He's out of Scandia, 23, Mitch Weiss. Final Midwest Modified Heat Race getting set to come rolling on out onto the back straightaway. Lineup's going to look something like this. Driver that'll go from the inside of the front row, calling Chisholm, Minnesota home, sitting in that perfect performance. Anders Signs, Tom's Taste of Chicago, Corpy Builders, Snickers Pizza 7A. That should be Eric Anderson starting inside of row 1 and going to Anderson's outside. This driver calling Osceola, Wisconsin home in the 15. That should be Jason Miller. Next row back on the inside, this driver racing out of North Branch. That should be Jeff Ekdahl. Ekdahl on that 11 junior, sitting in that estate claim service. Pinky's Environmental and Sewer Service, and Bob's Handyman Service 11 junior. Jeff Ekdahl going to go from inside of the second row and going to his outside. That should be Matt Everett's out of Maplewood in the DSM Excavating Twisted Motorsports. Zumi's Race Engines in 12E. Matt Everett's going to start outside of the second row. Third row back on the inside, that should be Jason Vandekamp. Vandekamp, the 8-time feature winner out of Scandia in the FYE Motorsports, Champ Sports Bar and Grill, CNS Automotive, Kane Designs and Ramp 16. Vandekamp going to start inside of row 3. Into his outside, that'll be Parker Frolic out of Ramsey in that Adams Automotive Hot Carl chassis. Win 1 going to start outside of row 3. Fourth row back on the inside, that will be Corcoran, Minnesota racer Dave Kane sitting in for Charles Bistadel. In that Daggett Trucking, CMB Concrete, Elman Brothers Paving, Dave Kane Racing, Lake Country Concrete Pumping. Dave Kane going to sit in the 23B, going to go from inside of row 4 into the outside. That should be Brady Larson. Larson calling Amory, Wisconsin home, the 3-time feature winner. Sitting in the St. Croix Casino, Amory Auto Salvage, RC Seamless Gutters, sponsored 63 junior. Brady Larson going to start outside of row 4. Final row to the inside, ahead of top 5 finish out of Ham Lake. That'll be Ben Lewis sitting in that Wagaman Brothers JMR race cars. Plunkett's Pest Control 14L. Ben Lewis going to start inside of row 5. And the final starter on the field racing out of Crosby. That should be Josh Schiffler. Schiffler in that Deerwood True Value trailer and truck equipment and T&J Lawn Care Service. Josh Schiffler going to start outside of row 5 here in our third and final Hobby Farm RC Speedway Midwest Modified Heat races tonight. So going to roll them around here a few more times. One quick reminder, remember that the Ogilvie Raceway is a smoke-free facility, so if you need to have that cigarette or cigar or vape or whatever it's called, we ask that you make your way out into the parking lot. Be courteous to your neighbors. So once again, no smoking here in the grandstand at the Ogilvie Raceway. The Ogilvie Raceway. So caution lights go out. Eric Anderson, the Chisholm, Minnesota racer, going to lead this field to the green flag. Jason Miller sitting in that Eric Gadich-owned dirt-driven Buzz Sides and Graphics Apple River in 15 from the outside of the front row. We are underway with Heat 3. Jason Miller going to get the jump from the outside of the front row here in Heat 3. He'll drive off a turn 4 and lead lap 1. Jason Miller, your opening lap leader in the 15. Eric Anderson will settle in behind him in the 7A. That'll be Matt Everett, followed by Parker Frolic and Jason Vandekamp. That'll be your first 5. Remember, top 6 to the A main later on tonight. It's been all about Jason Miller. How about the 15 here early? Jason Miller trying to run away and hide. Eric Anderson comfortably to second. Matt Everett, Jason Vandekamp, Parker Frolic, and Jeff Ekdahl in that final transfer spot as he will battle with Brady Larson. Larson now to the final transfer spot in the 63 junior. Jason Miller's got that Eric Gadich-owned 15 cranked up and working around the Ogilvie Raceway as he rolls right through the middle. We've hit the halfway point here in Heat 3 for your Hobby Farm RC Speedway Midwest Modifieds tonight. Eric Anderson is still second in that 7A. Vandekamp trying to make his way to the front as he works on the 12 of Matt Everett. It'll then be Parker Frolic and Brady Larson. That'll be your first 6. Followed by Dave Kane in the 23B. No problem so far, though, for Jason Miller in the 15. Eric Anderson in the 7A. Keep an eye on that battle for third between Matt Everett and Jason Vandekamp. 2 more trips around now for Jason Miller in that 15. Miller, the Osceola, Wisconsin racer, has checked out as the best race on the track goes between the 16 and the 12 of Vandekamp and Matt Everett. White flag getting set to fly this time by. One more time for Jason Miller in 15. Vandekamp to the inside of Eric Anderson, going to try and take over second. Keep an eye on that battle as it's been all about Jason Miller down the back straightaway. The Osceola, Wisconsin racer going to drive into turn 3, off at turn 4. Checkered flag waving for your Heat 3 winner, Jason Miller in 15. Battle now for second. It'll be Jason Vandekamp with the 16, followed by the 7A of Eric Anderson. So there you have it. That will do it for your Hobby Farm RC Speedway Midwest Modifieds. Third in Heat 3 will go to the 7A of Eric Anderson. Runner up to the 16 of Jason Vandekamp, and he sits in that dirt-driven Buzz Sides and Graphics Apple River Inn sponsored Eric Gadich-owned 15. Your winner at Heat 3 is out of Osceola. Jason Miller, your winner. So once again, that will do it for our 3 Midwest Modified heat races. 4 late model heat races sitting in the staging area. Ruben, I'm going to turn things over to you, my friend.
Thank you very much, Scott.